YouTube Ozic going the Goat House is back with our fourth free agency signing grades video. We got a playlist full of these. This video, we're giving out some A's. And so far through 3 videos, I've only given out 1 A+. Actually, I have 2 of them in this video. So starting to get some signings that I really like, that I really feel great about. So join us for all of our content. I'm expecting some trades to go down soon. Follow us on Twitter for instant news and takes. You're missing out if you're not following us. Really appreciate you guys for your support. Let's start with an A+. Derrick Henry, the king, goes to the Ravens. Weird seeing him in the Photoshop Ravens jerseys. Just weird seeing him anywhere other than Tennessee. Just a great fit with the Ravens' physical style, right? And Lamar Jackson's style of running outside. And Derrick Henry could actually run outside very well. Underrated. People think he's a bigger body guy. He's only an inside runner. But that creates just so many issues for defenses because, yeah, the simple answer is stack the box, run blitz. Because you just think of the Ravens, you think run game, Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson, but Lamar will outrun you on the outside, and Derrick Henry actually is a underrated outside runner. But mainly if you stack the box for Derrick Henry like they were doing in Tennessee, you don't got Ryan Tannehill running outside, which he was actually sneaky at times doing that a few years ago. Now imagine Lamar Jackson, and who also is a pretty solid thrower as well. The Ravens are going to continue to be a dominant team. Can they get over the hump in the playoffs? 2 years, $16 million, $8 million per year. So it's at the same range as, Pollard and Swift, same amount per year, but the appropriate 2-year deal for Derrick Henry. On top of, I think, a lot less risk here, a lot of certainty. Like he's going to be a really good football player for them. He should stay healthy, which the Ravens need. And it's just such a great fit. I mean, this is they're not messing around with their running back's been pretty good that they've had, but they're not messing around with those average to below average guys that they're making better than they are. They got a legit running back here in Derrick Henry. So that's one I'm really excited about here. So I gave it an A+. Only other A+ we've given out was Frankie Lavu to the Commanders. So good one here. This whole video, we got some good grades though. Darnell Mooney, which I was feeling all offseason, A- to the Falcons for getting Darnell Mooney. And at first glance, I think people will disagree with me on this one because $13 million per year for a receiver that has been a little quiet recently. So I can understand that take. I can understand that take, but there's going to be a risk with this one, like all free agency signings. But I just absolutely love the fit. I think he's a very solid receiver. I liked him a lot out of Tulane, and he showed it right away when going to the Bears. And then, I don't know, something with him and Fields, they didn't have a strong connection. Fields obviously wasn't a guy that was like the greatest at seeing open receivers downfield, even though he's highly talented in other categories. And then maybe the new staff too. It wasn't the same staff that brought in Mooney, so maybe just something didn't click there. But talent eventually kind of fades away for receivers, or really for any position. But that's if you're older, and I don't really think with Mooney how young he is. I really don't see a reason why the talent's just faded away or gone. I think it's there. I think he's just getting going. And again, I absolutely love the fit. The Falcons already had Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Pitts, more of a tight end / receiver, obviously, move tight end. And they never really had that slot receiver that can, shifty, speedy. They never really had that. I guess it wasn't necessary in Arthur Smith's scheme, but now with Zach Robinson, Raheem Morris, that Rams system, McVay system. I mean, look at Cooper Kupp played in the slot a lot. Puka Nacua played in the slot a lot. These guys tear it up in that system. And here you got a young, solid one in Darnell Mooney, who also can play outside if you need him to, but you have Kirk Cousins as well. So, you got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson going out for passes with Kirk Cousins throwing to him. I absolutely love the fit. $13 million may seem like a lot for recent production on Mooney, but I think his best football is definitely ahead of him. So that's a sneaky good signing there for Atlanta. Next, Darius Williams back to the Rams, which we had as well. He was visiting the Giants, so I was starting to get a little scared. Oh, maybe he's not going back to the Rams, but they get him back. We know he played well for them. He played all right for Jacksonville last year. He was a big-time playmaker, getting his hands on the ball, but he was kind of that type of player where you either make a big play or maybe you give up a catch. But the Jags ran too much cover 0 for my liking, which leaves corners on an island in man coverage, no safety help. So I thought he did a fairly solid job. They just didn't really view him as a fit in the new defense. We know he fits the Rams, and they're going to still run a similar defense despite losing Raheem Morris. Only $7.5 million per year for a pretty solid corner. I would rather do this than pay a great corner elite money. Elite corner, elite money, maybe a different story, but a great corner, elite or close to elite money, I would much rather have Darius Williams and somewhere we know he fits. So I think this is a really solid signing. Is he going to be as good as he was when he was with Jalen Ramsey? Probably not, but pretty damn good. $7.5 million, we know he fits, so I like that one for the Rams. They've had an interesting go so far. Next, my third A-plus of free agency, and two of them happen to be linebackers. Another one was in, I think, our second video, which was Frankie Lavu to the Commanders, and so it looks like I'm a linebacker guy. I'm usually not, actually. I'm usually never grading linebackers this high, but I think these are solid deals. The two top linebackers, Frankie Lavu of Patrick Queen, two legit free agents, two monster years this past year. Go to great fits. I didn't expect the Steelers to be on Queen because they've been a little cheap when it came to linebackers the last couple years. And they've really been struggling. But last year they brought in two new ones, Landon Roberts and Cole Holcomb, who were pretty decent. And it was a step up because it was atrocious the years before. When you think of Steelers, you think of like legendary linebackers too. So it's been tough. It's been tough, but last year was a step up, not by a major amount. I did think those guys played fairly well, though. Good fits. And now you take an even bigger step up with a legit guy here in Patrick Queen. So I love the fit. I didn't expect it to happen, though. And at $13.6 million, and that could actually be the max value, I think that's pretty damn solid. I mean, with the cap increase, the market for everything is going up. I think the linebacker market's been going up. If you can find good linebackers with good experience, good play, that are athletic and can cover, they've been paying a lot of money. He's not Roquan Smith. He played at Roquan Smith. Not Roquan Smith. He got $20 million. And it just look at the top guards in free agency. They're getting crazy. They're getting like great tackle money. Receivers, guys that haven't been that productive, that consistent, are getting pretty high amount. And so you look at the top of every position group, they're getting good money. Look at Kirk Cousins got, what the running backs are even getting. That's a market that's been falling. So you take the top linebackers, Patrick Queen and Frankie Lavu, their franchise would have been over $20 million. That wasn't going to happen. Their transition tag even would have placed them around $19 million. So that wasn't happening, but it mixes in with pass rusher linebackers as well. But that's where you're kind of at with linebackers in today's market, and your top ones. If I would have predicted what I would been grading Queen and Lavu, who I like, I probably would have been grading them a lot lower, because I would have guessed that teams would have spent too much, like $17 million on them. They're spending $13 million. I love it. Patrick Queen's best football. It's just getting going. It's ahead of him. He was a raw prospect. He didn't have a lot of years playing for LSU. He came in with the hopes of being a running back, because he was a star running back, even though he played some linebacker in high school. So he kind of just got going, came out of nowhere that last year at LSU. So to me, he's just getting going, and we saw that last year. Good coaching staff defensively for Pittsburgh. They haven't had a linebacker like this in a bit. I'm excited about it. This is great value. It's a great fit. Why not an A+? Bears are signing Gerald Everett. That is a pretty random one. Bears, so far, they've got DeAndre Swift and Gerald Everett. So pretty random there for Chicago, but interesting. I love the interesting signings for sure. But love this one. Second A+ of the video, third that I've given out in free agency so far. We got some more good grades coming, though, here. Another one that I had before free agency, Drew Lock to the Giants. Had a feeling about this one. I like Drew Lock. Is he going to be a crazy good starter? No, not saying that. He's not even going to start the year. I believe they're going to go with Daniel Jones. If it's between Daniel Jones and Drew Lock, given the circumstances, who's been there, who's got the big contract, you go with Daniel Jones for sure. But Lock came in and he looked pretty good for the Seahawks. He won a game against the Eagles. I like his confidence. I like that he's calm. He's got a strong arm. He could escape pressure and throw on the run when he needs to, too. I mean, sometimes with these quarterbacks that haven't worked out, number one, they're just not good enough. Number two, a lot of the time, especially with those guys, like look at guys like Darnold, Trubisky. There's so many, but those two are probably top of my mind. Like, what's the number one? Zach Wilson. What are the number one things that stand out about those guys and like part of their struggles? Lacking confidence. Like, they're in their own head a lot. Drew Lock doesn't have that. Drew Lock does not have that. So I love that about him. He's got talent in him. It just hasn't fully worked out. Brian Daboll works really good with quarterbacks. I think his system is made to get guys open. He has to have the right pieces. The pieces weren't there to start the year last year on the offensive line, and the receiver's been a little underwhelming. But he's going to get more out of Drew Lock. If he has to take over for Daniel Jones, that's pretty solid. He has upside too, so if he works out, you sign him again. Or what Daboll did with Tommy DeVito even. Like, the guy came in and looked like this guy had no shot to play quarterback at the NFL level when he first came in, and then boom, just like that, he's got him playing pretty damn well. So I like this one. I like it. I love the fit. Only $5 million. You're not locked in with them multiple years if he doesn't work out. I'm going to say Daniel Jones is better, but I mean, how much of a difference? Even if you think there's a good difference, there isn't a insane difference between the two, and there is an insane difference in the contract here. So I'll give the Giants an A for that one. Again, I do like that fit. And then we got Shaq Barrett going to the Miami Dolphins. I gave that one an A-, another pretty good one. Solid pass rusher, been a solid pass rusher for some time here for Tampa. He had a little bit of an off year. So is it going to be the same as a few years ago? Probably not, but I don't think we can fully judge him off that off year. They're trying to get some younger pass rushers going. I mean, he lost his daughter during the offseason right before the season too, so that's tough, so we're definitely rooting for the guy. So it's extremely tough to play like that, and he made some clutch plays. One of the game-winning play he made against the Bears early in the year. I mean, just freaky plays. Dolphins, I guess the only knock is they lost so many guys, and their focus probably should be elsewhere because they have Phillips and Chubb. But at the same time, those guys got hurt last year. So they definitely need another solid pass rusher. Could they find a way to use all three? I'm sure they could. They got to get unique because the players that they're losing. So $9 million per year is pretty solid, kind of right around where I thought he would get. But he's still got that talent in him. Rooting for the guy. So I'm giving the Dolphins an A-. So we got A's across the board so far here. Love that. And then to the spreadsheet, I link pinned down below for you guys for this. It keeps track of everything and the grades, the smaller signing grades. And I got this post on Twitter for you guys as well. Still waiting on details for Javon Kinlaw. Marcus Mariota went to the Commanders, 1 year, $6 million. Interesting in Kingsbury's offense. Cheap deal. I gave that one a B+. What else? Naheem Hines, $3.5 million. Just kind of more of a returner and then maybe a gadget back, but a guy you're going to throw the ball to when you're in, so it does get kind of obvious. I thought maybe the Browns, we'll see, they could still add one, but I thought they used that, that $3.5 million range for a guy that, they could still sign other guys because, you have Nick Chubb, you have Jerome Ford, so it was interesting. But a talented guy. As a returner. I like Jordan Hicks for them. Jordan Hicks was having a monster season. He's been around for a bit. He was having one of his better seasons under Brian Flores and the Vikings. And I don't know if I remember seeing him blitz throughout his career as much as he did, but he was a damn good blitzer. Then he had some freaky injury where it got dangerous and he had emergency surgery. It wasn't like your typical injury, something I'd never heard of. So that was unfortunate. The Vikings defense took a major hit without him. So Jim Schwartz defense, they're going to blitz. They're going to blitz Hicks. So I like that one. That one's an A. Gesicki for the Bengals. We thought he might be a fit for the Bengals last year. A year later, here you go. It's a weapon at the position, obviously more of a receiver. So he's a little different than the tight ends they've had. But they did bring back Drew Sample, who's a really good blocker, so that's good to kind of have both those guys. I didn't love back to the Browns. I didn't love the Winston signing. That's a lot of money for Winston when you know what you're going to get from him. I know he has starting experience. I thought they would go a little differently with the important position behind Deshaun Watson. So I gave that one a C. I thought it'd be much cheaper than that. Malcolm Roach, kind of a random one. It's not overly expensive, but you think he'd be getting better players. The Broncos got rid of really good players and cleared all this space to, not just to get even, but to get crazy amount of space to make this team better because Sean Payton has nothing to do with losing, and they're making these minor signings. So I thought there was ways you can get better. They're going to cut DJ Jones too. I'd rather just keep him, than just pay an extra $4 million for. I don't know. Lucky Fotu, young player, young player with some upside, nose tackle for the Jets. Gave that one a B. George Odom, really good special teamer. Could fill in at safety. I got $5.25 million. Gave that one a B-. Amik Robertson too. Kind of had his ups and downs. Okay, this guy might be something, or not so much. And then so another corner that's probably a slot corner, but a little undersized to the outside. They do have Mosley, I think a similar player, but he has injury concern. Kind of a random one for the Lions, but I like his toughness. Kind of fits the Lions' toughness motto. B- there. And the ones I don't have filled out either don't have the details for, or I do not, or I got to fill in the grades for the ones I already talked about. Irv Smith to the Chiefs is interesting. He's a weapon. He drops the ball a bit, but if he gets an opportunity, he'll probably produce for the Kansas City Chiefs, of course. So we'll see. But signings happening as I'm talking. So Gerald Everett to the Bears happened. That'll likely be in the next video as long as I have the details. But wanted to jump on and do this because Derrick Henry, Patrick Queen, some of these other ones were such big signings that we just had to talk about. Love the fits. Darnell Mooney, love the fits on these videos. Or in the ones in this video. So this is our 4th video. We have a playlist of all 4. Always talking more and more, especially on our Twitter. We have updated list of best available fits, predictions, sleeper free agents to watch out for, instant news, takes. So very important to follow us on Twitter at Goathouse NFL. Link pinned in the comments for that. GLD Shop, Liquid IV, those are our sponsors. Code GOAT for a percentage off. It's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.